Hello, hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for a great session on AI and machine learning. My name is Stefan Aita. I work for Google, and I lead the relationship with Atos. And it's my pleasure today to introduce someone who has a dream job, Adil Tahiri, who is advisor to the board with Atos. Adil.
I'm truly delighted to be actually here with you, sharing with you some more information about our recent strategic partnership with Google, but also to give you an insight into Atos' view of where the market is at in terms of AI and data-driven economy. So first of all, for those of you that are not familiar with Atos, we are a leader in digital transformation, and we serve a global client base. We are very proud of our strong European heritage, but we have an established and a growing market in the US. What do we do? So in a fast-changing world that's increasingly driven by data, we actually bring technology, businesses, and people together to actually tackle complex business challenges. And we do that so our customers can continue to be relevant to their customers, bringing new products and services as fast as possible. We are also the proud worldwide IT partner for the Olympics and the Paralympics since 2001. And over the last couple of events, we have completely transformed the critical application landscape to be fully running in the cloud, and we have shifted from build every time before every event model to actually build once and then iterate. So why do we need to talk about AI now in the context of business? AI, as you probably, most of you know, has been around since the 1950s. And even then, there were already unrealistic expectations. At the time, when it actually came to the forefront, a lot of renowned scientists predicted that a machine learning AI will be able to beat a human player playing chess. Of course, we know now that it took 4 decades to do that. And even when we're looking at the current algorithms that we hear our data centers talk about in the context of decision trees or neural networks or clustering algorithms, those algorithms have been around for at least the last 2 decades. So what has changed? What has really changed is actually the gigantic amount of data that we store and process on a daily basis. And this is exponentially growing on an ongoing basis that we started talking about the data deluge. And the data deluge is a direct result of the emergence of Internet of Things, Industry 4.0, connected home, connected vehicles, and also the fact that billions of us have shifted from being pure consumers of information on the web to actually contributors. So the question then is why data is important to AI. And the answer lies in the fact that AI learns by example. So the more data that you feed AI, the more sophisticated it gets and the more intelligent it gets. Of course, we cannot talk about AI without referring to the need for computational power. And then over the last couple of years, we've seen the application of GPUs to AI workloads, and more recently we've seen the emergence of dedicated AI chips like TPU, which can give an increase in performance 30 times compared to GPUs. So more computational power leads to the ability to process more data, and more data leads to better algorithms. These 3 factors, they actually have synergetic effects on each other. And they have led rapidly to maturity in certain applications of AI, especially in the context of perception. So to understand the progress that's been made over the last few years, let's talk about vision APIs, for example, and the ability to compare images. So if we look at the benchmark using ImageNet, which is a library of millions of weird and wonderful images, the error rate has dropped from 30% to 4% over the last 4 to 5 years. And that is almost equivalent to human-level performance. And the machines are doing really complex work. There is an internet meme. If you haven't come across it, I suggest that you Google it, Chihuahua and blueberry muffins. And you can do that during normal working hours, don't worry. So it's OK, it's safe to do so. But it just articulates the actual complexity that the machine is dealing with. So now let's look at the role of data and how it evolved over the last 50 years. So computers started making inroads in the enterprise in the 1970s, and they were used primarily to actually drive basic automation in terms of business processes with a direct impact on productivity. And then we ushered in the era of mobile and web, and that's where data was actually used to shape the customer experience, and of course e-commerce is a case in point. Now we are very much in the data-driven economy, where many organizations are looking to exploit data and AI to actually revamp their products and services and to reinvent their business models. MIT talks about the potential of AI to be a general purpose technology in the same way as electricity and a steam engine before. As Atos, we are very excited of the potential of AI in terms of economic growth. And we have been preparing for this evolution for the last 2 to 3 years by building competencies and products and services. However, it's not all rosy. So there are some significant challenges and risks with AI. Some of them are well documented. For example, the impact on labor, the challenges around privacy and also ethics. But there are some inherent challenges with AI that stem from their technology advances. So as we use AI to actually address very complex business challenges, we construct very complex neural networks with millions of objects and connections. The challenge is called interpretability, which means when the machine makes a decision, how do you go back and trace the decision? And we are very much in the actual realm of computer says no. And that is quite a significant issue when you're dealing with high-risk industries. It could be a matter of life or death. The other problem with AI, as we found out recently in the press, is machines can be biased because machines react on the basis of data. And we've seen examples in the press over the last few years where actually machines are biased based on race or actually gender. So what I'd like to do is to show how Atos exploits some of these technologies to actually affect change for our customers. And I would like to start with a use case in the connected retail, and clearly Coca-Cola doesn't need any introduction. We have been approached by Coca-Cola bottlers, and these are the guys that basically bottle the drinks, but they lease the connected coolers, and they manage them on an ongoing basis. And the connected coolers are the fridges that you pick your drink from, and then you go to the cash machine to actually pay for it. Sorry, to the cash to pay for it. In terms of scale, there are around 200 Coca-Cola bottlers, and they have around 17 million of these coolers worldwide. So it's a significant scale. And some of you probably don't know this, but we've been selected as the preferred IoT partner for Coca-Cola bottlers. And the first use case we developed with Coca-Cola Hellenic, which is the second biggest Coca-Cola bottler. And what they came to us with is they came to us and said, look, we want to exploit state-of-the-art technology in terms of data analytics and AI to be able to do 3 things. Once, we want to reduce our cost base. Second, we want to actually increase our productivity. And number 3, we want to actually interact with our consumers in a different way. So I'm really pleased to say that we are on track to actually finish the deployments of 300,000 of the connected coolers by the end of the year. And we have already seen some real business outcomes. So first of all, because these machines have integrated cameras and sensors, the majority of the sales team, the sales development team, no longer needs to worry about inventory, which has been fully automated. And that in itself has freed, on average, 1 week per year for those business developers to go and sell more machines. The second benefit is around increased productivity, because every time somebody opens the doors, we actually get notifications. So we're able to understand the utilization of each machine and better balance the demand. And that in itself allowed us to actually move machines where there is more demand from places where there is less demand, and that resulted in significant cost reduction. Finally, initially the machines, of course, were dumb, but by using beacons and consumer applications that run on mobiles, we're able to send notifications when people are nearby the machines. And we have data that shows that for every 4 notifications that we send to customers, 1 actually results in a sale. And that's a significant impact to Coca-Cola. So that gives you an idea how actually we exploit these technologies to affect business change. I also would like to talk about what we do for Commonwealth Virginia State, who have actually an IT modernization strategy that's actually in progress. And they wanted Atos to support them evolve their security capabilities to make sure that they maintain the security posture as they modernize their applications. So we currently deliver for them 77 security services, which range from vulnerability management, endpoint protection, encryption, identity and access management, as well as event management. And we integrate this using big data running on our industry-leading performance Boolean to be able to do threat detection and also to react, and thus making sure that they can actually innovate while maintaining their security posture. The last example I would like to use is done by Worldline, which is the leading financial transaction organization in Europe. And we have been working with Commerzbank in Germany, which is the 4th largest bank. And we've integrated Google Wallet, so their customers can actually register their credit cards, and they're able to transact throughout Germany using their mobile devices. So hopefully that gives you an overview of what Atos does and how it has been able to use and exploit data and machine learning to affect business change. But of course, we need to do that at scale. So how do you do that at scale? Of course, we've been preparing for this over the last few years by building competencies, but we also have developed a methodology. And the methodology is very much business-centric, and it starts with the consulting-led engagement. So we work side by side with our customers to understand how channels can actually improve their customer experience, how we can realign their processes for better operational excellence, and how do we use technology like IoT and big data to help them reinvent their business. And then finally, we need to do that while remaining in full compliance with increasing industry regulation. On top of that, we have organized internally around 4 key technology pillars. Starting from the bottom, which is the foundation, we have an industry-leading canopy orchestrated hybrid cloud, where we're able to deliver the benefits of cloud, whether it's on-premise or off-premise, providing elasticity, scalability, and the on-demand pay-as-you-go models. In parallel, we actually leverage our domain expertise to actually exploit capabilities from Microsoft, SAP, and Oracle to accelerate revamping business processes, and that's our Atos Business Accelerators. And then we use our Codex, which is our analytics platform, to be able to help businesses make better decisions with their data. And then finally, we use our Atos Digital Workplace, and I'm constantly reminded by the head of our Digital Workplace, I'm not sure whether he's here, to actually say that we are top right-hand corner of the Magic Quadrant. And we use the Digital Workplace to change how customers collaborate with their own users, but also with their own customers. And then, by engaging in many projects and use cases with our customers, we're able to build a body of knowledge around domain expertise, and then we use that to accelerate time to market for our customers. So, to be able to effect digital transformation, of course you need technology, of course you need consulting expertise, and of course you need domain expertise. But more importantly, you need to be creative, and you need to be very good at finding the jobs to be done. And this is very important in the context of data and AI, because AI is all about the use case. I think Picasso was once asked, what do you think of computers? His response was, they are useless. They can only provide answers. And so computers cannot actually ask questions yet. And for us, this is where we see Atos' significant value going forward in this new exciting world. It's by combining our technology expertise, by combining our creativity and the ability to find jobs to be done, we will continue to be relevant in the data-driven economy. And with that, I would like to ask Stefan to actually give his view of the Atos and Google partnership.
Thank you. For a long time now, Google has had a clear vision on AI and machine learning. So why is machine learning important? According to IDC, unstructured data accounts for more than 90% of all enterprise data, 90%. So what is unstructured data? Unstructured data is the human-generated data, the textual data, in many languages, coming from reports, coming from internal and external publication, coming from, of course, emails and text messages. And if you add to this unstructured data all of the semi-structured data, the machine-generated data, then you understand that there is a massive amount of data that remains untreated today. And today, companies are lacking tools to make best use of this data. And it's clear that the companies who are able to make insight from this data are gaining a clear competitive edge. And this is why, at Google, we have recently released a set of machine learning products and APIs to help customers to make best use of this data. And the partnership with Atos brings an end-to-end service solution to help you to make the best use, analyze, understand the data to give you a competitive edge. At Google, machine learning has been part of all of our products from the very beginning. And this is why Atos has selected Google as their partner, because they want to bring to the enterprise the magic that the consumers know very well. There are three things that this partnership is going to bring to the enterprise. And let me give you an example. If I want to develop an application to do spelling mistake correction in French, I can hand code all of the vocabulary rules and all of the exceptions, of course. And after a few months, if I'm a good developer, I'm going to have a nice application. Alternatively, what I can do as well, I can use a machine learning algorithm, feed it with many examples, and I'm going to get a better result in a fraction of a time. So this partnership between Atos and Google reduces development time. That's the first thing. The second thing is customization. Let's take this spelling mistake corrector example again. Let's say it's so successful that I want to have it in 100 languages. If I use the traditional development method, I'm going to develop it 100 times from scratch, using different vocabulary rules, using different words, of course, for each language. If I use machine learning, I'm going to use exactly the same algorithm, feed it with a new data set, and in a very short time, I'm going to get, again, my 100-language spelling mistake corrector application up and running. So this is what the partnership between Atos and Google brings to you, the customization of your development. And the third thing, it's maybe the most important one. It's we are going to do things in a different way. Today, I can recognize my friend's face easily as a human being. But if you ask me to develop an application to do that, I don't know where to start. And this is where machine learning is very good at doing. You don't need to tell machine learning what to do. What you need to do, you need to feed it with examples. And the more examples you give to it, the better it will be. So interestingly, in this partnership, as a software engineer, we are trained to think rationally, mathematically. With machine learning, we shift the focus from the mathematical science to a more natural science. And this is what this partnership is bringing to you. A new set of applications using machine learning in order to discover new way of addressing your customer requirement and needs. Thank you, Adil.
Thanks, Stefan. So our chairman and CEO, Thierry Breton, announced the partnership the end of April. So clearly we are the new kid on the block. And when he talked about the partnership, he talked about how unique it is. And what I'd like to do over the next couple of minutes to explain why it is unique from an Atos perspective and also from Google. So first of all, the partnership is not a reseller. It's not a customer-reseller relationship. And the reason for that is because there is joint investment in a number of strategic products that actually we're developing closely with our Google colleagues. And these are in the area of machine learning. So we have a platform, an analytics platform called Atos Codex, and we're looking at infusing it with the Google Big Data and ML portfolio. And we're going to run that on GCP as well as on-premise. The second area of collaboration is around orchestrated hybrid cloud, which is delivering on the vision of a coherent and policy-driven hybrid cloud proposition. And I'd like to spend just a couple of minutes on Atos' view of hybrid cloud. So we believe that to be able to deliver the vision of hybrid cloud, you need the following 4 pillars. And the first 2 are actually quite closely related. So we believe that the stack has to be application-centric, so application centricity. And you have to have portability. And with Google Kubernetes plus Service Mesh and Istio, that we have then the capability to actually at least deliver on both portability and application centricity. The third pillar is around a consistency of services. So if I am a developer, I want to be able to consume, or I want to make sure that I have the same services that are available in GCP are also available on-premise. And then the last pillar is around the user experience. As a developer, I want to use the same APIs when I'm consuming database services or machine learning in GCP as on-premise. And this is where I think, based on our experience so far, and we know that we struggle to actually execute as an industry on the concept of hybrid cloud when it comes to virtual machines. Google have put open source at the heart of their strategy. And because we can actually use the same products that Google augments, of course, to deliver GCP services, we're able to deliver a set of consistent services to a large degree and the same user experience on-premise and off-premise. The third collaboration area is integrating G Suite capabilities into our digital workplace portfolio to provide customers more choice and to give them consumer-like collaboration capabilities. And last but not least, we know that GCP is very secure and arguably is the most secure cloud out there. But we are actually augmenting it with a number of offerings that are focused on identity and access management, also around encryption, because we want to actually guarantee the security of our customers' data and also the localization. And the way we do that is by using customer-owned keys stored in Atos HSM solutions. So what are we currently doing in terms of integrating Google capabilities into our digital transformation toolbox? Depending on the maturity of customers, this can be approached either bottom-up or top-down. So there are some customers that are still in the beginning, and therefore they're looking for a partner to help them establish the correct enterprise data platform. And this is where we can exploit Google Compute Services, Storage Services, and Application Engine. And once you've secured that, then you can actually start looking at how do you become data-driven, and it's not just about technology. Of course, GCP can bring BigQuery, Dataproc, etc. But on top of that, you need to actually go through a culture change to make sure that the whole organization becomes data-driven. And of course, once you've achieved that, then you can exploit machine learning on top of the data to be able to extract insight and affect change in the context of specific use cases. So what problems can actually data and AI address today? So as you can see, there is a myriad of use cases. And our take on this is that we're working closely with Google to focus where we have significant domain expertise and we have significant footprint. But in parallel, we're also working closely with our customers to make sure they can help us decide which use cases are the priorities for them. So what are the key challenges when developing AI applications? So first of all, it's complex and time-consuming, especially if you're starting from scratch and you're actually looking for data scientists to actually join your teams. There is lack of accuracy, especially when dealing with complex use cases outside perception and cognition. And it's also expensive due to the unavailability of staff, but also there is a risk in terms of ROI. When you embark on an AI project, there is no guarantee that the ROI is going to work, simply because you may not have the correct data, or maybe the algorithms are not there to be able to be accurate enough to deliver the ROI. And then finally, every organization out there, across all sectors, are looking for experts in AI to actually help them shape their own digital transformation. So what does Atos do to help address these challenges? So our focus and our answer is twofold. First is developing and packaging products and services, and then also engagement in early research to be able to actually position ourselves ahead for the competition. So in Atos Tech Days in Paris, we announced our Codex AI Suite, and the key objective here is to enable organizations and businesses to focus on machine learning in the context of use cases rather than on the building blocks and infrastructure components. And so our customers can actually directly benefit from studio capabilities where developers can develop applications. There is also our deep learning engine where we pre-integrated big data capabilities and machine learning algorithms ready to be exploited by data scientists. And then finally, we have Forge, which is our library of data model sets and trained models that can be used and customized for specific use cases. And we also have the orchestrator, which has the capability to orchestrate the entire AI suite on-premise and off-premise across multiple cloud providers, of course, with priority given to Google. The second part that we're working on is the Atos AI Labs, and we have already gone live with the AI Lab in the UK, and then we have Paris and Dallas coming on board shortly. The whole concept of AI Lab is actually structured around a 3D methodology, which is basically discover, design, and then define. The discovery phase is about bringing our customers in co-innovation workshops to actually demonstrate the potential of ML and help them understand the benefits and the pitfalls. And then we move into the discovery stage. Sorry, we then move into the design phase, where actually we start talking about customer-specific use cases, understand and explore what a minimum viable model could look like. And then after that, we actually chart the path in terms of their overall AI journey, starting with the development of the minimum viable model. To be able to do this, we've assembled multidisciplinary teams. And just to give you an idea of the makeup of those teams, there are data scientists, there are developers, there are cloud engineers, but also there are design thinking experts to actually help actually narrow down the use case and make sure it's a creative process. And then finally, there are also business analysts. So really, we bring all the key skills required to be able to at least make sure that we're working on specific use cases and bootstrap our customers' journey into AI. Now we move into the research area. We are actually investing significantly, working with a number of universities through our scientific community to be able to harness the enterprise intelligence. So every enterprise has a myriad of data that is scattered across multiple divisions, that is scattered across multiple functions. And the Holy Grail is not about extracting entities and objects. The Holy Grail lies in actually connecting the information and working out inferences, causality, and correlation. And to be able to do that, we are looking how to actually built a structured approach to building domain-specific enterprise graphs. I talked earlier about how critical computing power to evolving algorithms and the ability to process ever-expanding volume of data. We proudly announced the availability of our quantum learning machine, which is a simulator that enables our customers to start looking at the impact of quantum mechanics on actually how on the ML algorithms. And we're working very closely with a number of partners, universities, and national laboratories. And we also started the discussion with our colleagues at Google to see what we can do with TensorFlow in the context of quantum learning machine simulator. We have one of those in the booth, and I would encourage you to go down to the exhibition and talk to the experts in terms of where we are. So we really believe that we have the technology capabilities to actually drive digital transformation, and we can deploy AI in a number of delivery models. We can do it in the context of HPC, using our Bull Sequana world-breaking record in terms of HPC. We can do that in the cloud using our on-premise capabilities built on our Bullion hardware, or we can do it on top of GCP. We can deploy that in the edge. We can also deploy that in swarm use cases. And then finally, as I discussed with the Coca-Cola use case, we also can do that in the context of IoT. So Atos has realized the potential of AI a few years ago, and we had a strategic plan to actually build competencies and capabilities to be able to be at the forefront of the development of AI discipline. So we have a number of technologies that are built in-house and designed in-house, and we complement that with unparalleled capabilities from Google, especially in the context of data and AI. And we bring our expertise in the context of services. We have decades of domain expertise. We have significant customer intimacy, which is required to actually define the jobs to be done. And then, of course, we do believe in two things. To be able to actually unlock the potential of AI, it's impossible for a single organization to be able to deliver that. So we're increasingly building innovation ecosystem that are highly focused on the exploitation of AI. But we also believe that future competition is no longer between individual companies. Future competition is going to take place between multiple ecosystems. So, over the last couple of years, with engagement with a number of customers, working on a number of use cases, we have some simple recommendations that I would like you to walk away with today. So, first of all, we believe that AI is all about the use case. And to be able to succeed, you must find the jobs to be done. What we mean by the jobs to be done is basically the use case. And some of the mistakes that have been made over the last few years is this very ambitious, large-scale AI projects where actually they have fell flat on their face. So our recommendation is crawl before you start running. The second recommendation is you're not going to get so far in AI by simply attending conferences and looking at PowerPoint and slides. Our recommendation is to start experimenting, building competencies, and learning by doing. And then as you progress and you reach a certain maturity level, then you can start introducing formal semantic representations and actually build knowledge graph for your domain knowledge, for your business domain.